jumper. Give me a fucking flat tyre. Are you taking a piss? No, bro, bro, I'm done. Yeah, I'm sure, bro. That's me done.
This was the race that almost made me quit TeamSport Mitcham forever. TeamSport Mitcham, a track that I've been going to quite a bit lately, so let's run it back again. So, because I am doing BIKC here, I decided that I would do a members event on Speed 4, which is Heat Seeker. I thought it'd be quite good to just get that practice in, so I know how to drive on Speed 3 and Speed 4. I've got some more Speed 3 events in the future, so let's just get straight into this really, there's not much else to say. So the format for this is a qualifying. Qualifying determines where you start for Heat 1, and then where you finish in Heat 1 will be reversed for Heat 2. And then in Heat 3 it's just completely randomised. All the points combined, whoever wins, I guess, with the most points. That's pretty simple. It is going to be a lot of fun, and I've got a few friends on track with me as well. It's only qualifying, no fighting at all, so let's just show you my hot lap that got me a whopping 15th place. Well, let's just take this from this. At least I wasn't last. Well, I was barely last, but that's not the point.
I know.
Because, Zach, I had a terrible qualifying, you little shit! Right, let's get straight into Heat 1. First of all, where are the lights? Oh, they're there. The lights go green and let's go racing. I know if I just stay back while the chaos unfolds in front of me, I'm going to gain a few positions, and I already have. I've gained 2 positions going through the corners there. I've got Steph in front of me. Let's just hope for a move around the outside. No, it completely fails and I actually lose a position from it. Going around the outside sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. I actually get 2 moves done here going through the hairpin. I was able to just sneak past both of those drivers very nicely. This guy covers the inside. I'm just going to absolutely send it into the corner. I do kind of smash him into the side, but it could be worse. It really could be. But so far my comeback is actually going really well. Steph has been able to stay in front of me. He's clearly got more pace for me. I don't really know how to drive this circuit quickly, consistently. I just know how to do it over 1 lap, which doesn't really help. But you know what? I don't mind it because we are close-ish to the field. Hopefully we are going to make some moves quite soon because I know I have more pace than the others in front. Well, for some of them. I know there's at least 5 drivers here that I won't be able to beat on pace. Only a couple corners later, as we go up the ramp, I get a slightly better exit than Steph. I absolutely send it down the inside. It's nothing too bad. I thought that contact was fine. I thought it was a fair dive bomb, just the normal contact you have through a dive bomb like that. I've now got drivers in front I need to catch up to, so it won't be that bad. These drivers are actually really quick. They're just being held up by slower traffic. I can see Zach just leading that this small pack here, and hopefully I'll be able to overtake him at some point. I've clearly got the pace on these guys. I just need to make sure I get some moves done. Here's a possible move. If I'm able to get a nice exit up the ramp, I'll be able to dive down the inside and get a nice move. I'm not going to dive it down the inside here. It is a bit risky. I was quite far back for it. And then as I go through here, I go for a tighter line. I try get that outside. It doesn't work. I do think of a defensive line because I do see Steph behind me, but there's no point doing that. Going through here, I am on the back of this guy's bumper trying to find a move somewhere. I am really keen on trying to get the move done. I try to stick the nose in, but it just doesn't work. Oh, here we go. We actually get a move done. He lets the inside in when he really shouldn't have, really. He thought I must have been closer than I thought I was, and then I saw the black flag for me for some reason. I don't know why. Let's find out.
Was it the 2 moves up the inside? Because I know that was a bit dangerous, but how am I supposed to flick it in properly?
I know, but you gained the position, you made him go wide. This corner here, you made 28 go wide and you gained the position. If you gave it back, then you wouldn't have got a back flag. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's alright.
I do get if you force a driver too wide, it is a bit dangerous, but through there, it was completely fine. I don't know why they were complaining, but yeah, that move on Steph I thought was completely fine. Joe does get himself stuck in the barriers there, and now I've got these drivers to overtake. They have no idea I'm a back marker, so I'm just going to go for the moves anyway, and well, yeah, I'm in last place, so there's not really a point, but I'm still going to try my hardest to get some moves done. The problem that I have is that you can see here my entry speed is amazing, but my exit speed is not the best at all. But I am going to fix that. I do go for an ambitious dive down here. That does open the door for Joe here to get past me almost. I do get loaded from behind, and that keeps me up the inside, and I keep the place so far. But there is going to be more battles ahead. One of the other drivers, he just gets slammed into the barriers and is lost many positions, but I'm going to try and capitalise on that through the corners here. I do outbrake myself going through that corner because I know he is focusing more on exit speed than me entry speed, but that doesn't matter. Going through here, I do go for a somewhat dive, so I thought the door was open. Joe goes for a move again. He does almost get me though, going up the ramp. I do have that inside, so I keep it. He does give me like a small punt, but it was actually Steph that actually gave me the small punt and has gone past me now. I've left the door open for Joe. I've still got that inside line, but I have a feeling I'm not going to have my position for much longer. It doesn't really matter because either way, I have got the black flag and I am in last position, and I am just fighting to unlap myself, which realistically is not going to happen. I have got Joe next to me. Me and him bravely go through this fast right-hander very quickly. And we've got another driver next to me. I do try take Joe again going through that hairpin. We do have a guy up my inside, and I just get completely freight trained. I do have the inside though going into this corner, so I do gain one position back. I am trying to gain as many positions as possible throughout this pack. It's not working. I have now switched to a different technique because I need to try capitalise on the other driver. So I've switched my technique from smashing the brake and flicking the kart in to smoothly trail braking this kart to see if it's any better. And so far it feels better. There is a red flag now, and let's wait for the red flag because, well, that's kind of normal with a TeamSport Mitcham members night. There's always some sort of red flag for a big crash. After the longest red flag, it goes to yellow flag conditions. Now, the yellow went on for so long that we thought it was actually the end of the race, but it wasn't, which was kind of good in a way because I liked this racing somewhat. Let's just go to the green flag. After a very long wait, it finally goes to green flag conditions. Now, as we go up the ramp, I'm constantly looking behind to see where the other drivers are, so I can see if I actually have to go on a defensive line or not. Going through the corners, I'd still go for a middle line, just to be safe, and I'm still catching up with the other drivers, so it's not that bad. Going through the corners here, I'm thinking, do I try and make a move on Steph here? I am actually almost going to, but then someone else has snuck up my inside during that. Another driver tries to go with him, but doesn't really work. I managed to get the overtake back on him to keep my current position, but now I've lost any sort of chance to try overtake Steph now, which is not the best, honestly. Over the coming laps, I will slowly catch up to Steph again, because I have finally found my pace around this track, and I'm taking it quite nicely compared to Steph here. You can see through the corners, he's flinging it in a lot more than he has to, and I'm carrying more speed in the result of it at some corners. Through here, he does take it a bit better than me, but that's no issue because eventually I will catch up to him, because he's focusing too much on entry speed at the moment. I've decided to focus more on exit speed at some of the corners that I don't really know as much well as some other corners. We have finally started catching up to Steph though. It has seen that flick technique does somewhat work, but my technique is working just as well. So, let's go to some more action, because it's just pretty boring following a kart for ages, isn't it? Only 2 laps later, there was actually another red flag, and this was a chance for Steph to just rub my black flag into my face.
Bro, those 2 dives apparently going like really.
And before I had any time to explain what happened to him, well, to me actually, it is green flag conditions, and it's definitely near the end of the race by now, because we have been racing for ages, and I feel like it really should end quite soon. I am hoping to try get another overtake on Steph, because he is fighting the guy in front, which means I can try capitalise on it at one of the corners. It's not really going to matter though, because I've still got that black flag in the end. But you know what, I'm still going to rub it in his face and still overtake him, because, well, that's just what me and Steph do. Now let's just go to the checker flag, because I'm finding this pretty boring now. And while I do that, I kind of kill Steph's neck in the process.
I would have been up there, man. Bro, we're at the front. Let's just get away from all of it.
As you can see here, we have James here. James is someone I race normally quite a lot at Mitcham. James hasn't exactly had the best race so far tonight. He's been involved with many crashes, and he's just not happy that everyone is just smashing into the side of him. Trust me, that will come back to bite us later. The lights go green and let's go racing. Already I'm just being smashed around while I start in second. I do just dive it down the inside here. I get a smack from behind, I get a smack from the side now. I'm on the outside, so I'm going to lose out, and I'm going to be in third place now. Still a podium though, so let's try work with it. We are going to try keep up with the guy in 36, but it's not something I expect to actually do and overtake and just get that position back, because it's not going to happen, because I'm not as quick as these guys. I've got James behind me now. I know James is very quick around this track, extremely quick, so I know he's going to get past me eventually, but I've got to do a good defensive drive. I am being somewhat smacked. I know James is not trying to do it on purpose, because, well, I know how he drives. Me and him are really good friends out on track, and it's purely because of my defense, because he's not used to my defensive driving normally. That's how far ahead he is of me most times we race. Through here, he is staying behind me. I am keeping a normalish line, because I know if you're not alongside me, you just can't go for a dive bomb, because it just won't work out. He does go for an amazing switchback here though, and has managed to finally get past me. I'm going to try and keep up with him. I give him a small tap and I get a smack from behind as well. There are so many people just loading each other into the corners, and it's just not exactly fun, honestly. You can see me raging here a bit, because I am trying to get my act together, but we all know it's not going to happen, because I am slow as shit around this track. But yeah, there's not much we can do. We are going to try and keep the position we have at the moment, because 4th is still very good for points for Heat 3. We do have a driver behind, but I don't think he's going to be able to get a move done. I thought he was going to go for a switch back here, but I just shut the door because he was barely behind me, and we've now got a decent gap to him, and let's hope we don't have to defend for the entire race. Eventually, the inevitable does happen, and we've got the drivers behind us, really keen to make an overtake. He dives down the inside, another driver goes past. I know I'm not going to be able to overtake one of them, but I will try get one of them. But I do give him quite a hefty smack, and that loses all of my speed. And he's probably going to get me a penalty as well for that, because that was quite a bad hit. But now both of them are passed. I was hoping to keep at least one behind me, but never mind. It was going to happen eventually, me losing all of these positions, but it's not the worst. We are going to try keep up with them. I am somewhat keeping up with them in the corners, but obviously weight is playing a big factor in these. These Sody carts alone are very heavy because of the batteries they have in them, but because I am a heavy bastard and I've been on the fizzy drinks and sweets a lot, I am quite, as I said, heavy. I am obviously losing that, so I have a decent amount for what is this video is coming up to Daytona 24 hours. Obviously you've seen that release now, but you get what I mean. I was kind of gaining it for Daytona, but going for the corners, the guy does make a mistake. I think about the dive, like a long dive bomb, but nothing really happens, and I'm now too far back to even make a move. I'm thinking, do I try dive bomb him down the hill here? But he's too far back, I can't do it. Going through the corners, I am slightly faster than him in this section, and I know how to take it very nicely, but still he builds a gap, and it looks like I'm not going to be able to make a position on this guy. I ended up staying behind this guy for basically the entire race, and I was able to keep this position. It's yellow flag conditions, and by now it is the end of the race. During this though, I did get my fastest lap. I'm not going to show you it because I have too many hot laps of this track, but I learned a lot from following Kart 22. So let's try and replicate that in the last heat. But the last heat is not going to go as you expected, and I am going to have an interesting conversation with James after this as well. Before we go into the next heat, I've got to make this very clear. The conversation I had with James was quite, well, interesting, let's say. Me and him both agreed the driving that we saw tonight so far is absolutely horrendous and something that both of us are very not happy with. And he said if it happens too much again in the next session, the last session, he is just going to go. I'm not joking when I say that. He just said he was going to go. And honestly, I don't blame him, because the driving was horrendous that night, as you saw in Heat 2. Too many smacks, too much contact. It's just something we can't have, really. It's just too much. Like, someone was going to get injured. I know we've had drivers leave after Heat 1, which is ridiculous to hear. But let's just go into Heat 3 and see what happens. The lights go green and let's go racing. I am starting quite far back. I already almost get spun into that corner there, and then just a bunch of chaos happens. Everyone is turning into each other, causing crashes. It's just not fun. Everyone is just bumping and going through the corners. I'm trying to keep my position. I've got James next to me here. Gonna try go for a dive here, and it just doesn't work because I brake too late. I've got James next to me. I'm not going to try cause much contact because I know he's not happy. I can tell already he's probably had a lot of contact happen at that start, so I'm trying to be quite careful around him. And then going through here, I am somewhat catching up to James because I will make a move on him eventually because the traffic is a bit too much for him. Through here, he almost finds a gap, but it doesn't work. I go for an amazing switchback here. I'm able to get up his inside, I do have a slight tap with him. I do apologise. I give him a bit of space, and then I let him back through this corner here, which he was quite grateful for. The other driver does let me by because he knows I was letting another driver by, and we are back to racing. I can already tell just how by James's driving, he's not exactly the happiest. And at some point in this race, he is going to be pitting and just ending his race. I can tell his kart's not the best either because he's hopping through corners where he really shouldn't be. Yeah, see, you can see him hopping and you really shouldn't be through those corners. So I have a feeling he is going to go quite soon. And it's probably going to be this lap, if I remember correctly. As we go through the final corners, he's going to go in and pit and end his race. It's quite sad to see him end the race, but honestly, that is the least of my concerns after seeing where he was after this race. A few laps later, I am starting to notice that the gap in front is building significantly, and I realise I am on speed 3. And I just dump myself straight into the pits to get a kart change. I don't really care what happens at this point because I'm so low down and I just want a kart change to get a decent lap time.
Bro, I'm on speed 3, I'm convinced. I have Crowley constantly in the back of me on the straight, constantly punching me faster. That's not boost, that is me on speed 3.
Coming off?
No, I need to switch cars. This is, I was on speed 3, bro. Bro, I was thinking like...
As I get into my shiny, well, I'd say new kart, I realise in the first corner of all things that I have a puncher. You can see how much I'm trying to rotate the kart and it is just not working.
Okay, I've got a flat. Oh, you're taking a piss. No, this no. I'm fucked. Give me a flat tyre. Are you taking a piss? Bro, no, bro, bro, I'm done. Yeah, I'm sure, bro. That's me done. What the f? You give me a car with speed 3 and then you give me a flat. You taking a piss?
Well, that members event was just really disappointing, really. Not only from the members who were bumping into everyone, but also the marshals as well. The marshalling, they said they had their BIKC marshals on. They did not. It was so clear. You do not black flag someone for them going wide on a dive bomb. I get my first one, that's understandable, but the one against Steph, that was fine. I think we can all agree on that. Steph's one was fine. James, on the other hand, bro, he was honestly, he went mad. When I went to go find him after that session, he was not happy at all. Like, I'm not going to say exactly what happened because I don't think he wants to go back to that, but he was not in a good state. Really not in a good state. It got to the point where he said to me he wasn't going to come back here or do BIKC. Luckily he is, but it was very close to a point where he actually was considering just stopping karting from this. It wasn't fun. It really wasn't fun tonight. And I don't plan to go back to Mitcham for a long time or even forever. The next race will be Rye House.